Okay, Rahman, it is 11. You can proceed.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Respected dignitaries, resource persons, speakers of our national webinar series, and dear participants, a warm good morning to one and all. Today we are on the final day of our 7 days national webinar series on Earth, Environment and Society and Overview. And today we have an eminent speaker and very experienced person in the geology, Dr. V.K. Brijesh, Associate Professor, Department of PG Studies and Research in Geology, MES Panani College. I would like to welcome, sir. I would like to welcome to this program, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I welcome all the dignitaries, resource persons, speakers, and all the participants to this program. And next, I would like to welcome Ms. Kavya B. Krishnan to introduce the speaker to the participants. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. A very warm good morning to everyone present here. As we move to the final day of our national webinar series, I must say it gives me immense pleasure in welcoming you all today. Today, we have Dr. V.K. Brijesh as a keynote speaker. Before I start introducing him, let me just share my screen with you. As I've already mentioned, on this final day, we have Dr. V.K. Brijesh, who's the Associate Professor in the Department of PG Studies and Research in Applied Geology from MES College, Pune. He'll be talking on the topic, If Data is Money, Geospatial Data is Gold. He has had an excellent academic background with an MSc in Geology and an MSc in Geoinformatics, along with his PhD and a gold medal from Kannur University. His area of specialization includes hydrogeology, remote sensing, and GIS. He has over 11 publications in national and international journals and has published books on physical geology and practical manuals on GIS. He is a life fellow in the Geological Society of India and Indian Society of Remote Sensing. He also handles positions such as Nodal Center Coordinator of Indian Institute of Remote Sensing Distance Learning Program and a NAC Coordinator of MES College, Pune. He is the research guide in geology at the University of Calicut and a member of the Academic Council of Calicut University. He is also the member of Board of Studies in Geology both at Kannur University and Calicut University. With due respect, let me welcome Dr. Brijesh sir to this function. Welcome, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Kavya. Respected Professor Govinathan sir, Gopalakrishnan sir, respected Principal Naveen sir, Head of the Department C.V. Abdraman sir, other teachers, Manohar sir, other teachers and friends who are watching this webinar. It gives me immense pleasure to be with you all. Of course, it's a nice thing that we all joined to discuss the topic of geology and its allied disciplines. At the same time, I am very much perplexed also because I am presenting something before my teachers after a very long time. Still, I love that because they have made us what we are now. And Dr. Manohar sir has made my job easier because he might have told you many things on GIS and remote sensing. But this thing, I will try not to repeat what sir might have told you in his speech. And this is in a slightly different way I want to take this. So I'm not prolonging the introduction part. I will be just going to this presentation. I will share my slides. Okay. As Rabbi Mama has already told you, the title is If Data is Money, Geospatial Data is Gold. So don't mistake for the gold that you are seeing nowadays in the media. I'm just talking about the value of that. That is, we know that people are saying that data is gold, data is money, data is oil. Depending upon its value, people are telling it different ways. So I thought of just taking note of the importance of the geospatial data over the data what we have been talking for a long time. So in that perspective only, we are taking that geospatial data is gold. Okay, and we know that the data is governing or it is ruling our daily life nowadays. There is no doubt in that. But in a sense, we can say that our life, all our lives are controlled by the market forces as a whole. Maybe exceptions are there, maybe difference of opinion may be there, but still, if you see in one way or the other, you can see that all the policies of the governments or any other institutions, organizations, whatever it is, at the end of the way, at the end of the day, it is all reaching to the market. Or the policies are governed by that. Okay, so when we see that, we may feel that, okay, if it is by market, they may be controlling the whole thing. Then we will understand that the market is driven by data. Okay, if the market has to go, it has to get one or the other data. It can be of many type, it can be of many number, whatever it is. So it goes like that. Data, then where does this data come from? This data is collected through nowadays. Earlier, door-to-door survey and other type of things were required, but now we have the social media as a powerful mechanism to collect the data. Okay. Then the same social media data is essential for marketing also. Okay, you can see that it's a cycle like of thing. Okay, something that is controlled by market, which is run by data, and the data is collected through social media, and the social media data is essential for the marketing. Then what do we mean by the social media data? That means it is nothing but, as the name indicates, it is there in the name itself, that is social media data analytics are effective, and the social media data, the collection of the data, its analysis and the decision making based on that are all very much required for effective digital marketing. Because now we are in the, especially during the COVID time, even before that, even very much before that, you know that we have been depending upon the digital data and the data that has been generated from the social media. And the data is being generated, the data is collected, the data is being analyzed. And that whole process, we call that as the social media data analytics. Just like any other data analytics, this is here the data is from social media. That is the only difference. And that is very much required for effective digital marketing. Okay, so what is that digital marketing? I'll tell you an example. We might be surfing something. We might be looking through, or we might be in search of some information, maybe some products, maybe some information on, say, some shirts or pants or shoes or whatever it is. So we might have search on a particular day. Maybe in another half an hour, some message will pop up in your desktop window. Okay, this might be of interest to you, or the pages which are suggested for you, something like that. So how do they know that you are interested in this? It is from your internet data or internet data history that the marketing companies or the companies who are interested in that, they are getting you the data and getting you the products of our interest, which they feel that we may be interested. And that interest is governed by, or that is determined by our search history. Okay. So this social media analytics, with social media analytics, businesses can see exactly how customers perceive and interact with their brand. Okay, if many people are going behind a particular brand, they will understand that, okay, this thing is going to be a hit, or this way we have to produce. So maybe the people, the other companies who are also getting use of, who are also getting that data set, they will also understand, okay, this is the interest or this is the trend now. So they will also be changing that. And it happens for everything. It can be the SUVs, the cars, or the brands of dresses, whatever it is, all the utensils. many things. So everything is depending upon that. Okay, then based on this, so clever people or the good people who are, who are good at business, they will do the business according to the trends which are governed by or which are produced by or which they analyze from the data sets. So strategic changes they will make and that move the needle for the business. Okay, so they can make it. Okay, if they are ready to move in that way, they can flourish. Otherwise, they can perish. That is the way. So what do we mean by this social data? I'm not deviating from our geospatial thing, but first I just wanted to tell what is happening. Then we will understand that what is the why do we say that the geospatial data has got an upper edge. So we can see that if you take the example of Facebook, the social media data, if you want, that is, which is very much controversial nowadays, that is, which because the Facebook data, which has, we feel that, which has affected the US election also. The last election has been governed by Facebook data, we say. The information from the internet and other sources say that. So on Facebook, social media data includes numbers of likes, increases in followers, or number of shares. You can see that. So when you click a like or when you comment something, so these are all going to be data. Knowingly or unknowingly, we are contributing to a data set which is collected, which is marketed, which is sold by people who are doing business with that social media data. So on Facebook, if it is like that, on Twitter, results include numbers of impressions or retweets. Okay, if somebody tweets, if somebody else retweet that, that is going to be the data set in the case of Twitter. Whereas on Instagram, the hashtag usage and engagement rates are included in the raw data. So you can see that from application to application, there is slight difference, but everything, whatever we do with our mobile phones or gadgets, other gadgets or computer, whatever it is, that is going to include or that is going to be added up into the data set. Okay. Now, once this information is mined, you can begin marketing trends, measuring engagement and drawing insight. That is important. What for? Who is interested in all this data is the business people. That is what I told you. That is the business people who are interested in this. They will be making use of that data. That is what, when we like something, we must be cautious that you are going to get many things which are of the same kind, so that you can have a choice. In the mean way, that is, you will be getting that slowly. And one of my friends, he told a story. It's not a story, an incident that happened. Actually, he was eagerly surfing for a ticket while he wanted to come back from Toronto to Kannur. And at that time, there was no tickets during that time. Everything was full. He was in some 154, 170 waiting list like thing. So twice or thrice he tried. Then on the screen, he got a message from the red bus. See, okay, you are trying for the ticket. So seats are available in a Volvo bus that is going from Toronto to Kannur or Kasaragod. Okay, so in a fraction of seconds, he was getting that message. So he was actually surfing in IRCTC website. But how the red bus people knew that he is going to, or somebody is searching for tickets from Toronto to Kannur. So this is happening. Okay. So that happened because the last sentence, the red bus people got the information and then they are sending messages to the people who are interested in their product. Now, so it is not mining the data alone. Okay, it is about the content that you provide for the people who are searching for that. Okay, so the social content, it simply means able to see which platform is the most popular among the customer base. Okay, the marketing people should know that in which platform much of their customers are there. That is one thing. Second one is they must be able to measure what types of social posts perform best. Okay, if you post it as an audio or a video or a picture or a poster, which platform, which form will be getting you more results. Okay, then the most important thing is what time of day customers are hanging out on it. That is, they say, the IT people say in their language, it is when there is more traffic. Okay. When there is more traffic, you have to put the thing, then it will be noticed more. So that is another thing. These are all related to the social content that you post in the social media. Now, using these findings, posts that have the maximum reach can be created and published. Okay, there is no point in creating a post and putting it in the midnight when nobody is watching. But when the traffic is more, when more people are online, you have to put that. Okay, that is the social content of that part. Now we are coming to the second part. Okay, so now you might have got the idea, or all of you know that is why data is money. Now we are coming to the second part of this geospatial data. Of course, you all know that geospatial is nothing but that is the data which has got two parts, and the geospatial part is the coordinates or the location, the space or the location on the Earth's surface. So everything has got a geo connection or a connection to the Earth. That is called the geospatial data. And a few lines of definitions and all. I'm not going into the details, but in order to, because hereafter we are dealing with this, so just so this geospatial data is data about objects, events, or phenomena that have a location on the surface of the Earth. We know that. So all kind of data which has got a connection to the location, okay, that is called geospatial. And the location can be of two types. It can be a static one or a dynamic one. The location may be static in the short term. That is the location of a road, an earthquake event, then children living in poverty. If you go with the demographic data details, so an area, entire area where the population is living in poverty. At the same time, the geospatial data can be of dynamic nature also, a moving vehicle or pedestrian. How that is going to be dynamic is because at a very point of time when it is moving, it has got a coordinate changing. A changing coordinate is associated with that. Then we cannot say that it is not geospatial. It is geospatial, at the same time it is dynamic. Then the spread of an infectious disease. If we were to monitor, the corona, the COVID-19 corona, the spread of that disease, we could have easily identified from which point it has come, then what is the spread rate and how it has come like that. So everywhere you have got a connection to the location. Okay, now what the geospatial data do is, earlier also the locations were there on the earth. Whenever earth was there, the latitude, longitude, coordinates, everything was existing. But the combination of these two, the geospatial part or the spatial part and the attribute part, or what we call geospatial data, combines location information, usually coordinates on the earth, then attribute information, that is all the other details that you can add up to that point or polygon or line or whatever be the entity that we use to represent that. The characteristics of the object, event, or phenomena concerned, and often also temporal information. That is the very important thing, that because in real-time marketing and all other area in markets especially, we are making use of the fourth dimension, what we will be seeing later. That is the temporal information. That is the time or lifespan at which the location and attributes exist. Okay, this is how Stock and Gazan as that is even other ways we can explain or we can define this geospatial data in this way. And here I will just tell you, I will show you in a 2-minute video how it is going to work easily. I'll share another small video for you. Okay. It is visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, British, visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's coming. I'll tell you how it is and how is the. Okay. Now we'll go back to our earlier slide. Okay, it's visible, right?
Yes, visible.
Yes, sir.
Visible.
Okay, so this was the link that we have seen the video, and this is the house that I told you, and all of you can have a guess, and no need to tell me now. And this is about the house that this is the house that we got it. That is while giving the coordinates, this is where we reached. And in earlier days, if you have to reach this place, you had to give an address like this, what you are seeing here. But now with the geospatial data set, it is very easy. You have to give only two values, the latitude and longitude. And I don't need to prolong the suspense. This house is the newly built house of our GK sir only. And we will be missing that treat because of this corona. And so just I showed you just to show this geospatial data, how geospatial data is in work. It is working. And now the second part is the geospatial analytics, of which we have to talk more. So it is nothing but it is that is the data analysis part, wherein much of the data will be the geospatial data. Okay, so the geospatial analytics gathers, manipulates, and displays geographic information system data and imagery, including GPS and satellite photographs. We may feel that, okay, we have seen so much theory of this, and we have been using that for our practicals and all. But when you connect the business part of this, then we understand that geospatial analytics is not going to be something very small. Okay. So everything is connected to this geospatial analytics is based on the data that is collected, that is being generated by GIS, GPS, and of course satellite remote sensing. And geospatial data analytics rely on geographic coordinates and specific identifiers such as street address and zip code. Okay, now geographic coordinates and specific identifiers such as street address and zip code. So these are all the details that we are using now. That is enough to reach a place. Then they are used to create geographic models and data visualization for accurate modeling and predictions of trends. See this? Just an image only, there's nothing to do with specific, but you can see the changes in that picture. You can see how the landscape has changed. Okay, so the number of data sets that is being analyzed in a fraction of a second. Okay, so that is the capability of the geospatial data analytics. Just to show that an image, it has nothing specific, this thing. So what is geospatial analytics? It uses data from all kinds of technology. That is very important. And that is what, as geospatial analytics analysts or as geologists, we have to understand that we are going to be the people who are supposed to make much of that. I mean, the purpose, the geospatial data has to be fully utilized by we people, because we have been using the many layers of data, and we know that how to work with the data so far. Okay, so we are going to be the people, because others are also there, geographers, maybe the geoscientists, other geoscientists, civil engineers, many people are using that, but who can use the data related to Earth in an accurate manner is, of course, the geologists. Okay, so now geospatial analytics uses data from all kinds of technology. That is important, because we'll be using data from books, papers, paper maps, and all other things. At the same time, the modern GIS, GPS, satellite remote sensing, even now the georeference data from the drone cameras are also being used. And even there is unmanned aerial vehicle, UAVs are also in the use. Now, this georeference data can be applied to nearly any happening on Earth. That is very important. This georeference data can be applied to nearly any happening on Earth. It can be a man-made thing, it can be natural calamities, natural resource exploration, everywhere you can make use of this. And the visualization can include maps. The same thing can be visualized in the form of maps, graphs, statistics, and cartograms. that show historical changes and current shifts. Okay, so instead of keeping the data in a table or in an Excel chart or in charts or tables that are in books, if you visualize that in the form of a chart or a map which are connected to locations, it will be easy to comprehend. And this can make predictions easier and more accurate. And the important fact that is associated with this is that the fourth dimension of this geospatial data set. The fourth dimension is nothing but the time. Geospatial analytics adds timing and location to a traditional types of data and location to traditional types of data. Earlier it was not possible. And the best example is that is, we know we are all using this, we may be using the Google Earth portal. Okay, there is something called the Google Earth history. So if you click on that, you will be getting imageries starting from I think 1995 onwards, or at least, okay, let us take it as 2000 or 2002 onwards, you are getting the images. Okay, so if you want to understand what kind of changes have taken place, suppose a government agency who is in need of making the data banks of wetlands in an area. Nowadays, it is very difficult unless and until we have the maps of this kind, it will be very difficult. People may not be remembering whether that area was a paddy field, say 10 years ago. Not even 1 year. 1 year ago, we don't know what was there. So, in 10 years ago, 20 years ago, what was the condition in that place? So you can easily understand that. What kind of built up area have come? What change have taken place to the land use in that particular area? So in order to understand all these details, you need the fourth dimension of time associated with that area. Then we know that our coastal part, the coastal area is changing shape every day. Okay, and with the threat of the climate change, we are under the threat of climate change, and we know that the point that as time goes, our sea level is rising, and our coastal area are under the threat of this sea level rise. So, what kind of changes have taken place to the coastline? What has happened to that? So, in order to understand that, we need the data beforehand. I mean, we need to have the data that what was there some years ago and what is the condition now. So, in that way, we can compare. We can understand what kind of changes are taking place. So, in all those analysis, we are making use of the fourth dimension of the time. Okay, so insights that might have been lost in a massive spreadsheet are revealed in easy to recognize visual patterns and images. It's the same thing. For example, we are having the survey map where we don't have any survey, the map with a survey number and all of a village. Instead of that, we have survey number so and so, the area is this much acre, another survey number, area this much cent, or something like that. If we are having that in a table or a spreadsheet, Excel spreadsheet or something like that, it will be very difficult to visualize that first. Then only we have to make decisions on that. But that part is taken care of by this geospatial analysis. The same thing is put into maps, instead of charts and tables, we are bringing that into the map. Then we can easily find out what is happening. In today's paper, the lead news is that our Prime Minister has inaugurated the longest tunnel bridge, the longest tunnel, the Adal tunnel in Himachal Pradesh. And of course, they might have used that. They might have used the geospatial technology in making that. And now, if somebody wants to go there, they can again making use of that. And everything is coordinate connected. Another news is that the Mepadi Panchayat in Wayanad, they are going to go for digital water supply within inverted commas. That means they are going for leak-proof water supply and all. Okay, definitely, wherever the connections are there, wherever the joints are there, from where the major lines are coming, all kind of that logistics they might have mapped using geospatial technology. Otherwise, it is not possible for that. So, in that way, the time, this is important. The geospatial, the locations and mapping is another area which requires good manpower as well as the technology. Okay, so more insight is given with the fourth dimension. And the another thing is the real-time view. That is very important because what is happening exactly now, or at this particular point of time, what is happening? Okay, that is very important. Geospatial analytics companies are able to instantly process huge amounts of geographic and geometric data. This gives users the ability to interact with the billions of mapped points while looking at real-time geospatial visualizations. I'll tell you. Users can explore data across time and space to instantly see how something has changed from days to years. That change, days to years change is one thing. Another one I will tell you, we may be using these Google Maps. If you are going to some unknown places or which are not that much familiar to us, we may be switching on the Google Map in our mobile or in the car or whatever it is. So the Google Map is telling you correctly, okay, in this way you go, you take a right turn after 200 meters or something like that. And when it reaches some major junctions and all, it is telling us that there will be a traffic jam in another 5 minutes. How the system is able to do that? The system is able to do that because of this part what we have discussed. The system has to analyze the data that is coming from many people, because if that is a junction, people may be coming from different sides. And at a particular point of time, say 5 minutes, we are getting an alert that after 5 minutes there is going to be a traffic jam. So that means just before 5 minutes or at that point of time, how many vehicles are approaching that particular signal. The software or the company who is dealing with all this data, they might have to check that. They might have the ability to interact with billions of this data. So all our locations are taken into consideration. Where we are now, at this particular speed, how we are, at what time we are going to reach the junction. So analyzing this data only, you are getting the answer at this particular point of time you are going to have, or you are going to be held up in this particular point. Okay, this is how they map and analyze the data set. What are the benefits of using geospatial data in analytics? Without geospatial also we can do the analytics. Data analytics are already being done for marketing. Okay. Geospatial data analytics began in the 1960s. You can see that when Canada used the first geographic information system to catalog natural resources. You can see that it was first began for the cataloging of natural resources. Today, geospatial analysis is used for data capture to understand anything from weather modeling, population forecasting, to sales trends. Why I put it in yellow color is because we were discussing, we were working with the marketing and the data analysis, and in that part, nothing else. Otherwise, it is just an application of that geospatial data set. Now, what are the benefits of geospatial analytics? One thing is, of course, it is about engaging insights. That is, seeing data in the context of a visual map. That is very important. That is, as I told you, that is just by, we know that a company who knows its customers are here and there, but where exactly they are, or from the company outlet, at what distance they are on. If that is known, or if that is available in the form of a map, it will be very easy for the distribution. It will be very easy to calculate the amount that is required in that way. So engaging insights, seeing data in the context of a visual map, it is very important. Another thing is better foresight in order to plan. Seeing how spatial conditions are changing in real time can help an organization better prepare for change and determine future action. We'll see this in detail. That is, especially with natural calamities. People are giving more importance to the natural calamities, and they are giving much thrust for the climatological data and all. So that in order to plan what type of material have to be procured and stored for this particular season, or when we are going to, or when we are expecting a particular calamity, what type of products have to be stored. Of course, the market part is there, but at the same time, that will help us to live forward. Okay. And the third one is targeted solutions. Seeing location-based data helps organizations understand why some locations and countries are more successful for business than others. Okay. So this, because that is from analyzing the conditions, all conditions you can analyze. So the geospatial data is required. So this is not from our very much nearby your neighborhoods. I will tell you an example. It was in the year 2001 or 2. I don't exactly remember. At that time, a lady from Germany had come to Mysore University. She wanted to do research. She was a researcher actually in anthropology. And she wanted to do the cultural, give and takes. That is, especially when there are more than 2 languages. The people from more than 2 languages are mixing together. That is not as a cosmopolitan city or something like that. Otherwise, as a natural environment where people are working. So why she came to Mysore is because we have a place called Gundelpet. We all know that, which is a border area for Kerala. We have got Malayalam, Tamil Nadu, we have got Tamil, and Karnataka. We have got the Kannada as the mother tongue. So Gundelpet was the location that she could get while searching with this, using the geospatial data set, giving the conditions of these language barriers. So she got it, and that was while from Bangalore to, she might have contacted the anthropology department in Mysore in that way. My professor was telling about that lady at that time, and she came to the university. Okay, so this is, so when we understand that, when we this I just brought that here because why some locations are important. The same way for businesses and all other enterprises purposes, we have to understand what is a particular country. It is not about simply of borders, this much land, this much area, not that. About the exact how it is appearing, or what are the conditions, what is the ecosystem prevailing in that particular area on the Earth's surface. That is very important, or it is more important than what we have seen so far. And another area, that is, so far we have seen about the geospatial data sets. Even images are not that much important. The data itself is okay for this kind of analysis. And the geospatial imagery analytics is still what you can say, one step ahead. Geospatial imagery analytics provides video and image data of the Earth. Okay, video and image data. Companies in many sectors use the data to determine future risk and contingency plans. Okay, but you may ask, then what is the difference between the previous slide, that is the geospatial data and geospatial imagery? This is going to be more powerful. The planning is going to be more accurate. Okay, geospatial imagery analytics uses data collected from satellite images. Okay, not the images what we are seeing, but the much more powerful 1 meter or less than 1 meter, 23 centimeter, or that much big bird, like, or still more high resolution images. The georeferenced images are then presented as raster and vector images. Okay. Then there are different markets which are associated with this geospatial imagery analytics. You can see that. One is the imaging part, segmented into video and image. Large number of companies are working in that area. Okay. And then the technology part, that is segmented into GPS, GIS analysis, remote sensing, and unmanned aerial vehicles. Okay, that is the second part. Then third part is analysis, that is segmented into surface analysis, network analysis, and geo-visualization. Then the application part. This can be anything. That application can be anything, and this has to come from the first three. Segmented into agriculture, defense, security, energy, engineering or construction, and environment monitoring, government data analytics, healthcare, insurance, mining, manufacturing, natural resources. It can be anything in almost all areas. There is no distinction between science or social science or behavioral science or whatever it is. Everywhere the geospatial data is required now. So the application area is unlimited. Then the next one is the geography, that is segmented into different areas of operation. Many companies may have a different this thing. An example is like a part is Asia Pacific, Europe, North America, and ROW, or rest of the world. That is Africa, Middle East, and South America. Okay, so in this way, the markets are distinguished into different areas. Okay, these are the major 5 markets, and you can think of the magnitude of this. Then the geospatial imagery part, the companies are building their own satellites to gather the best data. Now you can think of what could be the, what you can say, the profit or whatever be the turnover that they might be expecting in order to think in such a way that they are going to build their own satellites to gather the best data. Okay, the geospatial imagery analytics market is expected to have a revenue of $9 billion by 2026. Driven by demands from the mining, manufacturing, and engineering or construction industries. Okay, so we have to understand that this industry is going to boom, or we have to have a strong foot in this particular area. I mean, in whichever area we can go, we can go. Okay, that is, if we are very much strong in what you can say, the programming part, we can go for that. Or if you want to go for the physics of that remote sensing, that technology part, we can go for that. Or if you are well in, say, the satellite image analysis part, if you are very much strong in aerial photo interpretation or satellite image interpretation, you can go for the analysis part. Whatever it is, you have to have a say, or we have to have a say in this, because this area is going to have a boom. Now we are seeing one by one. Maybe you might have seen this earlier also, but how people are using this, or what is the magnitude of the geospatial data in all these areas. First one is the telecommunication part. That is, it is not about one or two data. Just like our telephone exchanges, they were handling a number of, say, some 500 or 600 telephone lines. Not that. In this telecommunication industry, they quickly visualize call detail records and network logs. So network operation centers can fix issues before customers notice. You see the speed in which they want to work. Quickly visualize call detail records and network logs, so network operation centers can fix issues before customers notice. That is, customer satisfaction is the prime thing. So before they understand that something has happened, they want to fix that. So since network signal strength fluctuates by location over time, it is there the geospatial data comes to play. Geospatial analytics helps telecommunication companies understand where anomalies occur and then resolve them. Which area, which part, which sector, which area of the street, like that. They will be pinpointing to the location where problems are occurring so often, or where we have to build up the signal strength, like that. And of course, the military part, they are using that, and it is unavoidable as far as military is concerned. Each and every inch of the territory is important as far as nations are concerned. So logistics for military operations that provide a true view of situational awareness. You might have seen a beautiful video, actually, because of lack of time, I didn't put it here. There is a beautiful video showing that when there was a conflict between India and the India-China border. At that time, a beautiful video made from Google Earth was in circulation through the social media. So we can visualize the situation. We can easily see, because unless and until we know the real Earth, I mean the physiography, the topography of the terrain, it will not be easy for us to visualize how the terrain is going to be. So for planning, of course, they want to know the highs and lows in the terrain. The 3D visualization is very important. So even though we say that it is geospatial, the 3D geospatial is very important. That is the geoterrain, DTM, DEM, and all digital elevation model and all. Now, geospatial predictive analysis helps the military optimize placement of resources while using predictive analysis to assess infrastructure, anticipate maintenance needs, and meet deadlines. Okay, the terrain needs to be understood properly. In which way you can go there? Do you have an alternate route, or do you want to make another area like that? So the geospatial predictive analysis is very important. So again, the data is important. Of course, the weather is another area where the geospatial data set is making use of, that we are making use of the geospatial data set. Because rapid response to extreme weather by visualizing blizzards, wildfires, and hurricanes fast enough for effective evacuation alerts. Now we are making use of that, because now we know in advance, we know in which area the hurricane, the cyclone is going to hit, which direction it is moving. We have all that kind of data, and we are getting alert from the governments, that is, say, yellow, red, or orange, or whatever it is. So that are all possible because of making use of the geospatial data set, especially related to weather and climate. So geospatial, so that is one part. Second part is geospatial data analytics also helps airlines with routing and gives insurance companies a better way to assess property risk. Okay, that is important. That is another area who are making use of the geospatial data for the business. That is the people, that is the insurance companies. And when the urban planning development, as we can easily understand that they may require that, of course. Determine how growing populations affect energy, transportation, and housing resources. Okay, so beautiful maps or 3D maps are required now. Geospatial big data analytics helps planners visualize large data sets at the speed and scale. Okay, that is at what particular scale you need, at what particular time you need, because cities are growing in such a pace. Okay, it also allows for compiling and cross-filtering data from many sources to see how crime, public health, education, and housing, real estate outcomes vary by location. So everywhere they are making use of that. And you might be remembering a scene from a movie called Indian Rupee. There, the real estate people, the hero and his ally, they are real estate people, you may be remember. And there's a dialogue that, okay, we have seen the place through Google Earth, and they are giving advance for that. So real estate people are making use of that more than we imagine. Okay. So urban planning and development is another area where the geospatial data sets or geospatial analytics are being used. See this, which was not possible earlier. Such a planning. That is, this is a, what you can say, this is a model. It's a 3D model which was created by the geospatial data set. It was not possible earlier. We can make drawings, 3D drawings and all, but the exact planning, because you need to know what is the lat launch here, or what is the length of the road, what is the width of the road, at what particular point this joins with the other road, and so this three-dimensional geospatial data and the precision and the details are possible only with the 3D geospatial data set. Another one is that, whereas it is not about seeing that, okay, in 2D or 3D we can visualize that, but when the locations or the accuracy or the precision is very important as far as the 3D landscape of the urban area are concerned. We know that when you pay, say, 1 crore rupees for a 0.75 acre land, 0.75 cent land in Trichy, or something like that. So there you need to pinpoint the location. There you need to understand what is your property, what is the other people's property, other person's property. And those areas, this is very important, and it is not about the visual effect alone, but you need to locate yourself. You need to locate, you need to plan. Okay. So that is about the urban planning part. And of course, for natural resource and this area, I think Manohar sir might have told you in detail all this application part, but still, why the geospatial is important, I'm just improve efficiencies in exploration and field operation for oil and gas industries. Okay, so we need to know. Okay, and in order to, and in this area, we have got a, what you can say, a louder voice. Because geospatial analytics will be there, they may be telling you that, okay, up to this is the rock type. Up to this, the structure is like this. Beyond that, there is a shear zone or something. Then people may ask us, okay, then what is the possibility of touching an oil reservoir or something like that, or that of an oil reserve? Okay, so in this area, again, we have to be more specialized. With our geologic knowledge, we need to have, with the geologic knowledge, we have to keep the geospatial aspects as such. I mean, with a strong background, geospatial aspects are also very important. Geologists and project managers can use the visualized data to make decisions that reduce costs, minimize risk, and improve output. These 3 points are very important as far as any natural resource exploration project is concerned. Reduce costs, that is one important thing. Minimize risks, another thing, and improve output. Okay, so that is with the natural resource exploration. And coming to business, how are some companies using geospatial capabilities to geo-enable their digital enterprise? What they are doing actually? How are they taking advantage of real-time situational awareness and decision making? Because they are using the geospatial data set. And 2 companies, examples of 2 companies, this I got from the internet only. The mobile positioning and location provider uses Skyhook, the company Skyhook uses geospatial analytics to run up to 10 billion transactions daily. You see the number, 10 billion transactions daily, and map billions of data points in real time. We can imagine the data that is being generated. Then another company is Simul Media that uses geospatial analytics to process more than 300 million viewing events per day from 20 different sources to show national advertisers the effectiveness of ad campaigns. I'll tell you this, that is, we have been seeing large hoardings all along the highways and other roads and some points. Okay. But we may be thinking that why some particular locations are specifically selected by certain people. Okay, or they may be giving more money for that. because of this. Because if you keep a hoarding or if you keep an advertisement at a particular point on the earth, that may not be visualized or that may not be watched by everyone. But if you keep with some geospatial analytics, geospatial analysis, that is, what is the visibility of that particular area? If you come from this side or if you come from the other side, or if you keep it on the left side during morning time and people are all rushing to the office or their workplace, it may not be that much nice to say that you keep it there. Whereas on the other side, that is when people are coming back, when they may be leisurely coming after the work and students from schools and colleges. So if you keep just on the other side instead of left, if you keep it on the right side, you may be getting far-reaching results. You will be getting good results. Okay, so such campaigns, such a work is being done by this Simul Media. So they are processing more than 300 million viewing events. So what type of data they may be working with? I'll tell you. Beforehand, these people who are going to erect the hoardings, they are keeping a large board, like say, for ad or ads, please contact, one number will be there. And some one or two cameras which can identify the character recognition cameras, the face recognition cameras might be hiding in that. I'm not telling that for every ad or hoardings it is there, but people who are working with this geospatial analytics, they are doing that. Okay, some cameras may be hidden, and while if you are looking at that, okay, that is captured, your face is captured. So how many faces are captured in that? So that is how they decide, okay, if you keep it here or the other side, which will fetch you more results. Okay, so that is the way. So in that case, geospatial, that's where you are keeping that and what particular height, at what particular, where, near to which landscape or whatever it is. So in that way, you have to go. Now, this is an example of Munich Re, one of the world's largest reinsurance companies, uses a cloud-based Earth observation analysis service to analyze natural disaster data. See this? The company is about insurance, but they are making use of natural disaster data. We cannot think of that, which is with its customer data to make more informed decisions about insurance risks. Okay. That is, if somebody is going to take an insurance policy on a particular location, they will first identify what is the terrain, where is that, what is the chance of a calamity hitting that particular area like that. Okay, its customers benefit as the company pushes down cost down based on accurate, timely, historical, and real-time information. And if time permits, we'll have a video also. I don't know how about the time. Mudraman sir, can we show a video?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. 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 Sorry. Yes. Okay. Now, how this geospatial data is going to affect the retail business? Okay. Most consumers, data drives the world of retail. Okay. Retail business are also being run with the help of this geospatial data. And the giants like Google, Amazon, and Walmart, they have realized the value of geospatial data. Okay, why? How it should be used? To tailor products, services, and goods, it is important to know the socio-economic information of your customers. Okay, and that socio-economic information is collected through this geospatial means where people are dwelling and this particular area, I mean the demography of that particular area. Okay, so the distance to that. So where you have to make your production house, where you have to keep your warehouse, like that. That information, that decision is based on this, the geospatial data about the consumers. I mean, their consumers. Another way retail uses geospatial data is in combination with weather pattern prediction, as I told you, and that is in another way these people have told. In areas prone to hurricanes, tornadoes, or extreme winter weather, it is necessary to change items overstocked or on hand. Okay, during a particular period of time, you may need some particular items. Some items may not be required at all. So you have to know at what particular time, at what particular point of time, this kind of things are going to hit that particular area. Okay, in times of catastrophe such as hurricanes, stores are typically carry a surplus of generators because during that period of time no power supply will be there. That is for sure. So you have to keep a surplus of generators. I mean the small generators which can be used for enterprises and housing complexes or whatever it is. Okay, the restaurant industry prepares to provide a limited menu during times of inclement weather because they know that there is no point in keeping materials cooked. Okay, so a very limited menu will be there during that time. Okay. Also, weather pattern visualizations allow grocery stores to know when they should stock up on non-perishable items. Okay, so these are all related. So in all these cases, you can see that this is about the retail business, but even they are depending upon the climatological data, I mean the geospatial data as a whole. Another area is healthcare. We know that health geography and the application of geospatial data and techniques continues to expand its influence and used to support more accurate and timely decision making in the healthcare market. We don't know what is happening. I mean, even these people are making use of the geographical data or the geospatial data. Geospatial data is essential for both the study of epidemiology and the geography of healthcare. When we know the earth, when we discover patterns and influencing factors, when we understand how a population is influenced by social and cultural norms, only then can we begin to understand the effects on humans and their health needs. Okay, geography is important, the demography is important, that area is important, their topography, the geology is very important. Then only we can make decisions on that, how to control. Okay, there may be exceptions like this or COVID and all. Otherwise, there are certain situations which we can control with the information on geospatial. Then the financial services, visualizing real estate or land, I told you, land holdings tied to a particular investment. tracking changes to corporate industry or regional construction or development over time. That is whether if you make an investment at this particular period of time, is there any chance that the government may take over that, or a big boom of land development will come in that area? That kind of geospatial analysis must be known beforehand in order to make wise investments. Visualizing geographic and demographic data of investments and the regions of the globe they occupy. That is visualizing geographic and demographic data of investments and the regions of the globe they occupy. And we are doing that. Big people are doing that, and that is why when they know that the climate will not be letting you to make a business in a particular particular area in your town, your country, they come to the large companies come to countries and they lease large area of land and they cultivate and they make large companies and then run the show and then make the profit. So because they know that what is the condition there. If you come here, what are all the raw materials available? How long it will be available? They have the data, the geospatial data set in hand. That is how they plan that. We may feel that okay, on a they are coming, they are erecting a company and doing it. No, it is not like that. The geographic and demographic data is there with them. The geospatial data is playing the crucial role in that. Of course, logistics and transportation, we know that even state transport vehicles are making use of that, using global positioning systems for vehicle tracking and dispatch to expedite schedules, okay, to make the schedules fine, to keep that on time. Then for conducting route analysis for better efficiency when transporting goods. Earlier, they had to see the signboards and go. Now it is not like that. They are all having these GPS instruments tied to their vehicles. You may feel that a lorry, which is not nice to see, nice to look from the outlook, it may not be that much fine, but it is having, they are carrying sophisticated equipments of GPS handlers. Okay, mapping operation warehouse location for the proper inventory of goods for transport. Okay, the other way also, in order to collect and take, they are all making use of this. So even that every business, every area, the geospatial data has infiltrated. Another area is that we may be hearing that the artificial intelligence and machine learning, the new gen courses, data science, this, that we may be hearing nowadays. But if they have to, what you can say, they have to move forward, they have to further, they want to have good results, they also need the geospatial part. That is where we have to play now. GIS research has also become a critical element in developing artificial intelligence and machine learning, because these two, artificial intelligence as well as machine learning technologies, are made, or we are making use of that for better decisions. Better decisions are only possible when we know the earth. Okay, so providing an important data element to the content libraries and algorithms of these systems, the geospatial part is very important. AI innovations, artificial intelligence innovations offer groundbreaking ways to perform topological data analysis, spatial analysis, change detection, and feature selection. You can see this, the topological data analysis we are doing with GIS, spatial analysis we are doing, change detection, and feature selection. We are doing that. We are already doing that for for quite a long time. And now if they want to make better decisions with artificial intelligence, they have to incorporate that. So definitely they will be asking our help. Or we have to be that much strong in that so that they will ask for our help. Okay. Geospatial data is also one of the foundational elements of virtual reality development. We might have seen the virtual reality platforms where our children are playing with video games, the streets, the buildings, and all. Now you think of a condition where the geospatial element is added to those buildings. That is, the children are moving through the highways of Kerala. Okay, that is the virtual reality part. Okay, for that, in order to make that a virtual reality environment, we need the geospatial part to that, the video game environment. Okay, that is there. There is an increase in the use of geospatial data to inform policy making. Okay, so policy making is going to be affected in that way. So spatial data related to all these kind of things, urban sociology, demography, and statistics, are becoming an essential element of many local, state, and all other decision process. Okay, so now what I want to say is even the new gen part, what we feel, that is the artificial intelligence and machine logic, is heavily depending upon geospatial part. We have to be very careful. We have to put a strong foot on that ground also. Okay, so this is an example. You can just closely watch this. There is a GIF. You can see many images are coming over that. Okay, this is an example of crowdsourcing. Okay, how people are used or people are asked, that is, people are asked to take photographs of a particular location, keeping the camera at this particular position. So when you ask, say, some 12 people at a 20-degree difference, you are getting a 240-degree this thing. Or if you want 60-degree difference, you want a 360-degree photograph of an area, you can map that. If you want to map a street with all the buildings, you can send an app, you ask the people, you make beautiful photographs at this particular angle, this particular angle, this particular angle. You keep the photos posting at this particular address. People will be doing that as a contest, but you are getting beautiful data. And you are making a grand building from the photographs because they are bringing you geotagged photos. Okay, this is just an example I gave, that is the crowdsourcing. All these photographs that you are seeing that flickering on the scene, that was taken by people. So then that was hyperlinked to the geotag location that was provided. Okay, so this is how, that is knowingly or unknowingly, we are also providing the data to all these kind of service. Okay, so I think with that we are winding up this. I hope I have made justice to the title that data is. If data is money, geospatial data is gold. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your very informative session about the geospatial data.
Thank you for your enlightening words, sir. Before we conclude today's session, we have few questions from the participants. Sir, with your permission, may I move to the first question?
Sure.
Sir, to what extent can geospatial data contribute in assessing the risk of flooding and other natural hazards?
All the
Sir, shall I repeat the question?
No. I'm asking whether shall I answer after all questions come or one by one I have to do?
No, sir. You can go one by one, sir.
Okay. Fine. Okay, for flooding and all, it is just like any other natural calamity. For flooding and all, the first thing is that we have to make the floodline map. Okay, so how we are going to make that? Now, as far as we have this 2018 and 19 floods, at least in those areas, we can make the floodline map. Otherwise, for large countries, for other areas which are frequent to floods, they have that already. They have the floodlines near to the house, near to the rivers. So up to what extent the flood water may come, those maps are already available. But as far as we are concerned, we don't have that so far, but we have to make it now. One thing is that. Second thing is we have to expect it at any time because urban floods are different, the climatological floods are different. Okay, so in any case, what we have to have, that is one thing is that if the river water comes to a particular distance at a particular height, what are all the areas that is going to be inundated? That condition we have to understand first. Then we have to map that. Then we have to tell the local people that if the river water rises like this, or if the shutters of the main regulators are open, the water level may come up to this. So this much people have to be evacuated. So that map has to be made. So that information has to be passed to the local community and the administrators so that the evacuation can be done. So it is just like any other natural calamity, but here in this case we have time. At least if the rain continues for say this much hours, so in that case we have to take the precautions. But map is important. The geospatial data becomes important in that way. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Moving to the next question. What is the difference between geospatial data and geostatistical data?
Okay. Geospatial data is nothing but that is, it has got a spatial dimension. That is, it has got a location dimension. Okay. But geostatistical data need not be of that kind. Okay. It need not have a spatial dimension in that. Any data which is related to the geological disciplines, which is used for the statistical analysis. Or I'll tell you an example. If you are using the sedimentological data, and you are reaching out, you are finding out some parameters, okay, statistical parameters like skewness, kurtosis, all those things. In statistics, it is already there. But when you are doing that kind of analysis using the geological or sedimentological data set, you are saying that you are doing geostatistics. Okay, that is geostatistics. That is geological data, or the statistical measures are run by using geological data. But geospatial data is entirely different, wherein you are using a coordinate reference system, or you are using the coordinates as an attached value. Okay, that is the difference.
Thank you, sir. The next question is, what is the suitability of geospatial or geostatistical analysis in ArcGIS?
Both are possible. Both are possible. That is, geostatistical analysis is possible using ArcGIS. Geospatial analysis, all the analysis that is worked out with ArcGIS is geospatial analysis. Geostatistical analysis also possible. That is, we have the data points, we have got all the kind of data sets, we can make the statistical analysis. So that is also possible. Geostatistical analyst, I think there is an extension in that way, that name itself. Both are possible.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, moving to the next question. It is topology data essential in spatial analysis?
Definitely. As far as our vector data is concerned, topological data is created. That is, when you digitize, the topological part is taken care of by the software itself. Topology part is essential. Without that, you can do any kind of analysis. Topological data, yes.
Thank you, sir. Moving to the next question. What are the common challenges and their solution when designing and implementing geospatial data?
Common challenges and solutions. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That depends on the project, or that depends on the problem in hand. Okay, what type of problem you are working with. So the challenges are also associated with. And so, for example, if your purpose is to understand, or in order to mitigate the impacts of natural disasters, so you have an entirely different part. If you are going for natural resource management, where good amount of potable water is available, in order to map that, in order to fetch that, in order to procure water security for an entire region, then you need a different data set than what we have seen in the case of natural disaster response. So it depends on the project what we are going to work with. Okay, nowadays much challenges are not there. Only in the case of inaccessible areas we have, and even now with the remote sensing and other data sets, we have overcome that also. Otherwise, as a whole, good planning is essential, and then we have the data in order to get getting the geospatial data is not a problem now, I think. That's it.
Thank you, sir. We are moving to the last question. What are the research opportunities of this area?
Yeah, that's what in all the topics what we have seen so far, it has got this, and it is our interest that you have to keep. That is where you want to work with. Whether you want to work with the geospatial data and you want to do a business, you can go for that. If you want to save the society from the natural calamities, you have to work with the meteorological and geological data set. Or if you want to say, what you can say, if you don't want to do any business, but you want to do some kind of research, like say climate change, how the climate change is going to affect particular populations in particular area, how it is happen. So if you want to do that, areas the opportunity is there. That's it. We cannot pinpoint a particular thing. Every area, in all these areas, you have got the research opportunity. You can link. That is what I told you. In order to any discipline, you can link that. Humanities, social science, or science, you can link that. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Now let me discharge the duty of delivering the vote of thanks to the renowned speaker for today's session, Dr. V.K. Brijesh, sir. I don't think anyone else other than Brijesh, sir, could have explained this highly advanced topic in a simple and comprehensive manner. Thank you, sir, for your informative and interesting talk. Let me also take this opportunity to thank all other dignitaries, faculties, research scholars, and student fraternities attending this webinar session on behalf of PG Department of Applied Geology and GEMS Arts and Science College. And kindly stay back for the valedictory session to be followed. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brijesh sir. Thank you, Kavya. Now we are moving on to the valedictory session. I would like to invite all the dignitaries, speakers, and dear participants to this valedictory section of our national webinar series, 7 days national webinar series. So I welcome you all to this program, and I would like to invite Ms. Kavya B. Krishnan for the welcome address.
Thank you, Rahman sir. Respected chief guests for the day, Shri M. Vasudevan sir, Director Academics and Research, Dr. B.J. Unni sir, Coordinator K. Gopalakrishnan sir, all the speakers, other dignitaries, faculty members, and students. Good afternoon to all. When the whole world is fighting this horrible pandemic, the 7-day national webinar series on Earth, Environment and Society and Overview would not have been successful without the support and encouragement of our Vice Chairman, Shri M. Vasudevan sir. I extend a hearty welcome to you, sir.
Thank you.
Our Director, Academics and Research, Dr. B.J. Unni sir, has been guiding and mentoring us throughout these days. And without his support, this webinar would not have been possible. I extend you a very warm welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
We have with us our coordinator and master brain of this webinar series, Dr. K. Gopalakrishnan sir, who has actively involved in the day-to-day activities of this webinar series since the beginning. Has unstinted support and continuous motivational guidance helped us in accomplishing this task successfully. His timely involvement and wide contact helped us in having various experts for our webinar series sessions. I extend a very hearty welcome to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Let me take this opportunity to welcome all our distinguished panel of speakers, starting from Dr. K.K. Ramachandran sir, Dr. B.K. Purantara sir, Professor V. Gopinathan sir, Dr. A. N. Manoharan sir, Dr. S. Sri Kumar sir, Dr. C. Srijit sir, and Dr. V.K. Brijesh sir, without whom this would not have been possible. I extend a warm welcome to all our speakers to this function. I also welcome our head of the department, Shri Abdul Rahman sir, who has been leading from the front throughout these 7 days webinar series. Welcome, sir. Last but not the least, I extend a very warm welcome to all the dignitaries, research scholars, teaching and student communities attending this function. Thank you. And now, may I invite Dr. B.J. Unni sir, Director Academics and Research, Gems Arts and Science College, to deliver the presidential address.
Very good morning to all of you. Being a person of biochemistry and molecular biology, in fact, talking about geoscience, it's okay. I can speak, though I was listening to talk, because the institution I was associated almost 35 years, we had a very strong geoscience department. In fact, our center was the collection of data. That's what I was remembering when Dr. Brijesh was talking about value of data and interpretation. In fact, any parts of the globe, world, wherever there is an earthquake, any Richter scale, we the laboratory used to get the first time. And every month, geoscience data bulletin is to be brought out. In fact, I used to be sometimes to release the bulletin, considering all these points and listening to talk by the speakers, starting from Professor Gopinathan, Dr. Manoharan, Dr. Brijesh, Dr. Srijit, Dr. Sri Kumar, Sri Dinesh, Dr. A.K. Ramachandran, talked from, in fact, they started speaking from on various topics from 28 September till today on various topics related to the environment, earth, and the society. As a very beautiful theme and many points, very important points that touched upon. Though I was behind the screen listening each and every one's talk for the last 7 days. Some of the points touched upon by the speakers, I can recollect here: landslides, the floods, earthquake, pollution control, climate change, warning system, geomapping, hydrodynamics, geography, plate tectonics, mantle convection, and their interaction with the environment and atmosphere, hydrosphere, biosphere, and human civilization. Also focused on the human-induced challenges to Earth, future, values of geological data and interpretation. That was today. Dr. Bridges talked in very, very nicely. It was very informative. A central analysis of the relationship between people and their environment. Overall, each and every aspect with respect to academic and research content of geology were touched upon by all the speakers representing various R&D institutions within Kerala and outside Kerala. In fact, considering these all aspects only, I mentioned in the beginning, the first day also, we had a brainstorming session, a special point mention of the landslides, and the project is now under almost in the consideration. In fact, we have formulated, we are finalizing a major project on landslides, taking the northeastern aspects, Assam and Arunachal Pradesh, and in Kerala, where Dr. Shikmar and our college is also going to be a leading role. And considering if you take that aspects and the discussion we had it almost 2 days in August, the talk what we presented today and for the last 6 days has touched many aspects, and most of the topics were very much relevant and related to the research. And again, I have to say that most of the topics were very much relevant to the students of geology and as well as very informative. And I am confident that all the participants, they took part 17 for the last, had got an excellent opportunity to listen and interact with the learned speakers during the interactive session. Some of the points what I know in the question, in fact, someone suggested that sharing of data and coordination, that is also very much relevant. That is the reason when we plan a project in the landslides, we took about a multidisciplinary, a multi-institutional approach. All the lectures selected by speakers of the area research were highly informative and very much useful to the faculty and the students. On this concluding day of the conference, I convey my greatest appreciation and very sincere thanks to all the speakers from different parts of Kerala and outside to be part of the conference organized by the faculties of Geoscience Department of Gems, Arts and Science College. My special thanks to the entire teams led by the convener, coordinator, principal, and other supporting teams of the geology department and include the students for their untiring effort for the successful completion of this conference. This is the best way to know more details about the recent developments in geoscience and the way research is being carried out at the different parts and the different research institutions within Kerala and outside Kerala. I'm extremely thankful to the chairman, vice chairman, director, and all the members of the management for their continuous support. I'm also thankful to be the part of the event for giving an opportunity to continue, and the same type of conference I hope is going to be continued in future as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your words, sir. Let me welcome our chief guest of the day, Shri M. Vasudevan, sir, Vice Chairman, GEMS Arts and Science College, to speak a few words.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, you're audible,
Hello?
sir. Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Respected Director, Dr. Geology, Dr. Gopalakrishnan sir, and participants from different institutions. First of all, I wish to express my gratitude to the organizing committee for inviting me to the closing function of this 7 days webinar conducted by PG Department of Applied Geology of GEMS College. Even though I couldn't attend the sessions regularly, I was getting feedback every day, and it is seen that the webinar was a great success, and the webinar to be a platform directions on current waste management and etc. On this occasion, I thank the Department of Geology for organizing such a program. Dr. Gopalakrishnan, who is a veteran in this field. I will congratulate Dr. College for motivating and giving all help to arrange such a wonderful program. I also request the participants and scholars to associate with our college in future also, because our research director has already mentioned that our geology department is striving very hard to be the best department under Calicut University, taking different novel programs like the landslide projects and other programs. So I hope that all the participants and scholars will cooperate with our department in future also. So once again, I thank you for the program and thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now, I invite Dr. K. Gopalakrishnan, sir, to give the validatory speech.
Okay. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay. Okay, good afternoon and hearty welcome all distinguished speakers of 7-day national webinar. Vice Chairman Sri Vasudevan sir, other directors of GEMS, Principal Dr. Naveen Mohan sir, all faculties of various departments, students and other participants. The 7-day national webinar on the focal theme of the Earth, Environment and Society, an overview. That is from 28th of September to 4th of October. It's organized by the PG Department of Applied Geology, GEMS Arts and Science College. The college, one of the unique college doing its best under the self-financing cooperative sector. So this virtual conference has become so lively by the presence of eminent distinguished speakers from various sub-disciplines of earth science who address the participants by opting the most relevant and current topics of discussion, which I think is need of the hour, and all the speakers have justified their talk with the focal theme of the webinar. First day of the webinar, we had with us Dr. Ramachandran, a former member secretary, KSCSTE, and a scientist of National Center for Earth and Studies, who delivered an excellent talk on the coastal conservation and CRZ notification, which most of us were unaware. He explained the various challenges, threats, and the coastal zone, and also added the reasons and the causes of the same and various processes involved in the demarcating the various zones in the that is the coastal regulation zone boundaries and other government rules and regulations in the construction of buildings and other CRZ in the CRZ areas. The second day webinar, Dr. Purandaram, scientist at National Institute of Hydrology, Belgaum, Karnataka, gave a very informative talk on groundwater modeling and flow assessment. He elaborated the various groundwater modeling models, methods like analytical model, porous media model, viscous fluid model, membrane model, mass balance model, etc., etc. He also about explain the case study, but it was unfortunate that we could not able to get the network connectivity, and he could not present that one. The third day of the webinar, we had with us my reputed professor, Professor Gobinathan, former professor of geology, Government College Kasaragod, former principal and director of colleges education, Kozhikode, and he spoken on the topic electronic waste, damages and management. It was really a thought-provoking session. He explained various types, classification and sources of e-waste, various toxic constituents of e-waste, which causes the health hazard, and also suggested various methods of recycling and management strategies to overcome the effect of hazardous the e-waste. So next speaker was Dr. Manoharan, associate professor at HOD, Department of PG Studies and Research in Geology, Government College Kasaragod, who got gave us a very enlightening address on modern trend in geoinformatics, emphasizing the evolution of geoinformatic processes from data conversion to spatial analysis, from description to simulation and modeling. He also explained various branches of geoinformatics and modern trend in geoinformatic geographic information system, geospatial technology evolution, cloud basis, GIS, etc. and etc. So the next day of the webinar, we had with us the eminent scholar and the expert in the landslide studies, Dr. Sri Kumar, former professor and head Christ College Injalikuda. Currently, he is the director of Integrated Rural Technology Center, Palakkad. He delivered an enlightening talk on resilience and sustainability in the management of slope failure in hill ranges of Kerala. He gave an account of different types of natural hazards with particular reference to the slope failure and anthropogenic involvement, natural and anthropogenic involvement in the formation of the landslides. He illustrated various types of slope failure case studies with photographs. He also suggested various management strategies to control or minimize the effect of landslide. Yesterday, we had with us Dr. Srijit, Assistant Professor, Department of PG Studies and Research in Geology in S. College Pannani. And I'm proud to say that he was my former student and a colleague at MES, and he gave a very interesting talk on metamorphism in relation to plate tectonics. I appreciate Dr. Srijit for giving the reference of a paper from microscope to mountain belt in the Journal of Geodynamics. He explained various stages of tectonic evolution, volcanic exhumation, tectonic models, and metamorphic transformation of rock under various temperature and pressure conditions, like shale transferring to phyllite, schist, gneiss, and migmatite. Illustrative diagrams on orogeny through time. That is the earliest supercontinent, which was called as Ur, about 3 billion years ago. And next supercontinent, Pangaea, about 200 million years ago. And the present scattered paleogeographic distribution of the land and sea. All these bits of information were very beautiful and very informative. He ended with the various perspectives and opportunities for the ongoing earth science students. And today, in the morning session, we had a very nice and unique presentation of Dr. Brijesh, as mentioned by our academic director. It was very, very, very informative also. And I'm also proud to again say that he was my student and colleague at MES College, Ponnani. And he presented a topic, if data is money, geospatial data is gold. His approach to the subject is something new and innovative. He explained the role of data in daily life. And also he explained the geospatial analytics and how it can be applied in the daily life. And also the geospatial imagery analytics, its various applications in military, land planning, land utilization planning, weather forecasting, urban planning and development, forensic studies, natural resource exploration, business, healthcare, etc. and etc. So, so with this, I just want to tell one more thing. That is, I am not having the opinion that all the faculties and the students may go for the active research after listening for this webinar. But I feel that the various presentations during the webinar would able to have some sort of sparks in the minds of the younger generation, the students community, to inculcate a research culture in future. And I strongly believe that before involving in the research activities, the BSc and MSc students must have a thorough fundamental and basic aspects of the subject they study. So I hope that we achieved the object, this objective of the seminar, this webinar. So in this concluding session, on behalf of the department, principal, management, and academic director, I convey my sincere thanks and wholehearted gratitude to all distinguished speakers who, amidst of their busy schedule, would find time to be with us throughout this webinar. I also thank and appreciate and congratulate all the faculties, students of the organizing committee behind the curtain for organizing this webinar in a very systematic and successful way. I thank our principal, academic director, all management dignitaries, non-teaching staff, for extending all support for making this event success. Thanks to all students, participants, other participants also for their active participation till the end of the webinar. And thank you all. And over to Kavya.
Thank you so much, sir. Let me now welcome our speakers to felicitate the function. Going by the order of webinar sessions, let me first invite Dr. K.K. Ramachandran, sir, to give the felicitation address in a few words.
Thank you, Kavya. I think, 1 week continuously, people have been given the task of relating different problems of earth sciences through this webinar. And I should tell that, you see, there are different kinds of learning process that takes place during the webinar. Probably, the thinking-based learning process will be churned, probably at least in a few, through this kind of webinars. I appreciate the tremendous effort taken by Gopalji and the continuous follow-up by Abdul Rahman Sharafi and all other faculties. It requires a constant support from each other to bring about a webinar like this. Anyway, what I found is that, you see, the enthusiasm of the people who are attending this is clear. Even today on a Sunday, we have something like 120 people attending this. And normally as they go by, the number fades away. In many of the places, we have observed this. But the enthusiasm shown by the faculty and students of GEMS is tremendous. And this gives, when we start speaking about subject, probably we derive the energy from the way in which from the people who sit and listen to us behave. So that shows that this institution has got a tremendous future. And if at all any such help from our side is required on the areas in which we are having heredity, probably we'll extend it in future as well. And I thank all the faculty members and Gopalji and the head of the department and the chairman, co-chair and other directors and the research director for giving an opportunity like this for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now I call Dr. B.K. Purantara, sir, to felicitate the function. Purantara, sir, you are here?
No, he is not there.
Okay.
He appeared in between. I think Purandara is there.
Yes, sir, he is there in the participants list. We have Purantara, sir.
So there may be some network problem. Okay, call
Okay.
next.
Okay, sorry, sir. Moving on. Now, let me call Professor V. Gopinathan, sir, to give the felicitation address in a few words.
So your sound is not audible.
Please unmute.
Switch on. You have to switch on.
Unmute. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Welcome to all the organizers, guests, participants. I'm very happy to be in front of you on this fine Sunday to felicitate the organizers and the students of GEMS College. So I was invited for a presentation, and I find that among these 7 presenters, majority were my former students long back. I'm very happy to see their work, their contribution, their elevation, and I'm very happy to be with them even at this fag end of my life. So all the topics selected were very relevant. Management has given very good support to GEMS College. The teachers are very enthusiastic. And even I was able to attend all the webinars except that of Dr. Sri Kumar. So on Gandhi Jayanti day, on that day I was in a Satyagraha in connected with the COVID hospital functioning in Kasaragod. So I was unable to attend that webinar, which I very much wanted. So I feel that Dr. Gopalakrishna is the spirit behind this. He is motivating you all, and that should be there always, because you should have a very strong foundation, and based on the foundation you are growing. Definitely you all will succeed. All the faculties in the department, I wish them very successful engagement, very successful teaching, very successful research and contribution to the society. And I wish all the students, degree students and the postgraduate students, to be successful in their life, and also let them get a very good career. Let them choose a very good career in their life and contribute to the society. That is the most important thing. I'm very proud of Dr. K.K. Ramachandran, Dr. Brijesh, and Dr. Gopalakrishnan, and Dr. A.N. Manohar, who were once upon a time, giving the basic things, teaching them the basic things. So I'm very proud of them and they are contributing much. So happy to see you all, very good smiling faces and all. So wish you all success. I hope the management will support will be extended by the management, principal, chairman, vice chairman, and also the director academic research, and let the department grow. So all the best, and it is a lesson to the other colleges and other departments also. Let them also try in a similar manner or in their own way. All the best. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Gopi sir,
Thank you,
for
sir.
those nice words.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, let me call Dr. A.N. Manoharan, sir, to give the felicitation address in a few words.
Good afternoon, respected dignitaries online. I think I'm audible to you.
Yes.
Thank you. Respected dignitaries online, including Professor Gopinathan sir, G.K. sir, K.K. Ramachandran sir, Dr. Brijesh, and all other dignitaries who are actively participating in this webinar. And I feel very happy to see that nothing can stop us, even a pandemic or whatever happen on the globe. We will continue our thinking process, research work, and writing process, and even communication. Better way of communication, we can say, because we were able to gather 111 people now, and I was told that 300 people participated in this webinar. This is not possible in a hall. In a seminar hall, if you organize, this is not possible. Various people and various researchers, students, and academicians sitting together and discussing, sitting together in the sense, sitting in their own place and discussing such a serious topics, and if question answering also in a well-disciplined way, it is possible. And I think students has benefited a lot with this lockdown period, because they could able to interact with many people from various part of the country or various part of the world. They can come and they can search maximum material in the internet, whatever available. I think this is the time they will be using maximum material to study and utilizing the time in a better way. All who are taking it as serious, and the students has got a fear that what will happen our future in 1 year if it become a zero academic year and all. But that year they are working more, and they are grabbing more and more information from various sources. So that's an interesting part. The changes what we have observed. So I thanks to the organizer for inviting me for such a seminar or a webinar, and I wish all the best to the Department of Applied Geology, GEMS Arts and Science College. All the best, and I do hope that the management will support maximum the department for the further development, and this area is unavoidable. Yeah, science, it's a very ever, day by day, new research is going on in this area. New discipline, new branches are developing, and this is an area where a lot of research has to be done. With this, I conclude. Once again I thank to the organizers and the management of the college. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Now, let me call Dr. S. Srikumar, sir, to give the felicitation address in a few words.
Okay, Kavya.
Srikumar, sir.
Yeah, he
I think
informed that he got some other engagement. He may not be there in the live.
Okay, moving on. Let me invite Dr. C. Srijit, sir, to give the felicitation address.
I think he is also busy with the.
No, sir.
Yeah, he's there.
No,
Okay.
sir, he is there online.
Welcome.
When I joined.
Okay.
Anyway, I cannot miss such a function where most of my teachers are sitting. Starting from Gobi sir is there, GK sir is there, Ramendran sir is there. I am seeing him after a long time. And Brijesh sir is there, Manoharan sir is there. Sitting with the teachers is very interesting always. So probably I am the most junior in the presenters, and I am really happy that I could able to present with my teachers. And with GEMS, GK sir and PG Unni sir is there. So I feel it's like a family to come out to GEMS. And of course, GEMS have done a good job of conducting a webinar in the time of pandemic. Especially people were thinking how the research or the data will be given to the students at a particular point of time where we cannot meet with each other. And this have given a wonderful opportunity, should have been given a wonderful opportunity to students. And all of them will be sitting in their home and watching the webinar, means they are really concentrating into what is being communicated in the seminar or webinar. Anyway, I should thank all of you for inviting me to present something what I have done in the past few years. It's a great opportunity to present before the students. And of course, I wish all the success in the future endeavors of GEMS, Department of Geology, GEMS. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank
Srijit.
you so much, sir.
Nice meeting you, Srijit.
Let me invite
Surely, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Let me now invite Dr. VK Bridges, sir, to felicitate the function.
Okay, respected teachers, including Gobi sir, GK sir, KKR sir, and Vice Chairman of the Management, Vasudevan sir, PG Unni sir, Nagraman sir, Kavya ma'am, Manohar sir, and all those who are there, and Dr. Srijit, those who are there online. So it was really a great pleasure to be here. I told you in the beginning. And of course, this kind of webinars is bringing the students, as GK sir has rightly put it, a kind of spark. They may be getting an idea that in which way to go, especially at a time when we have got more time but less data to work with, because everything is online now. But still we can plan. Once this pandemic is over, we can do wonders. And with GK sir spreading the fragrance of geology all over Malappuram district, the University of Calicut is going to start more number of courses in geology, and we'll be facing the threat from those departments as well. And I think if it goes like this, we'll have to bring back GK sir to our mother department. Otherwise, it will be very difficult. So, and I thank the organizers, Department of Geology, GEMS College, the management, and of course I was there in between, starting from KKR sir's lecture to Gobi sir's, Manoharan sir and all, but with some other engagement, especially when we are going with the NAC accreditation process. I was not in a position to attend this lecture fully, but I know what I have missed definitely, because I have been seeing these Guru areas for long. And with that, I think it is time is already late, I think, and I extend all support and I extend my warm regards and gratitude to Department of Geology, GEMS College, and college management, and everybody who are there in organizing the seminar, in organizing the webinar, and also for all the future endeavors. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, I invite Dr. Supin Prakash, Assistant Professor, PG Department of Applied Geology, GEMS Arts and Science College, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Kavya Balakrishnan. A warm good afternoon to all. I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this memorable and wonderfully organized 7 days webinar series on Earth, Environment and Society, an overview. Let me first of all start by giving glory to the Almighty God for making today's occasion a resounding success. First and foremost, I thank our chairman, Sri Manjalangudi Ali, GEMS Arts and Science College, despite his busy schedule, has found time to grace this occasion and inaugurated this event successfully. It gives me an immense pleasure to thank the chief guest of the day, Mr. Vasudevan, Vice Chairman. Thank you, sir, for making this program extra special with your gracious presence. Next, I need to express appreciation for our most talented speakers, Dr. K.K. Ramachandran, Dr. B.K. Purandara, Professor V. Gobinathan, Sri Dinesh A.C. He couldn't attend due to some health issues. And Dr. N. Manoharan, Dr. S. Srigumar, Dr. C. Srijit, and Dr. Brijesh V.K. for their inspiring presentation on the webinar series. Sir, your years of research, hard work, depth of knowledge, and ability to present the subject in such an interesting way produced one of the most memorable in our life history. I thank all the speakers for the valuable contribution and esteemed participation in our webinar. We are grateful to Dr. B.G. Unni, Director, Academic and Research, for his words of encouragement. His able advice has always encouraged us. I thank him for his interest and continued support. It's my privilege to thank our well-wisher, P.T. Hamsamash, Director of Management, for his stewardship support, vision, and commitment. And special mention to our principal, Dr. Naveen Mohan, who has supported us in every possible way, and his hospitality. Thank you for believing us, sir. Well, I would like to offer my gratitude to thank the mastermind behind the entire series, Dr. Gopalakrishna, coordinator of this event. It is only because of you, sir, that this program became possible. We are ever grateful to our HOD, Mr. Abdul Rahman, joint coordinator of this event, for his constant support and words of encouragement. His guidance, support, interest, and hospitality have made to reduce our work harder each day. Thank you, Rahman, sir. And thank our beloved students, Mr. Shahid, Shaheen, Dan William, and Haifa, who worked behind the screen for making the webinar as colorful. I thank my dear colleagues, Ms. Harida, Avya Balakrishnan, Tinu, Vishnupriya, for the immeasurable support they offered throughout these 7 days. Last but not the least, I thank all dear participants, researchers, and teachers for your cooperation and involvement in making this program a resounding success. Thanks are due to anyone and everyone who have worked and helped us throughout these 7 days of webinar. A big sorry if I have missed anyone. It's not intentional, so I take this opportunity to thank anyone who I have missed out till now. Organizing a webinar series was truly a new and great experience for us, and I hope this very first webinar of ours would always find a special place in your hearts. Once again, I thank you all for your time and attention. Thanking you.
Thank you, sir. Once again, a very big thank you, everyone. Hoping to meet you all very soon in yet another webinar series. With this, we've formally come to the end of 7-day National Webinar Series on Earth, Environment and Society, an overview. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe and have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you for your participation.
Thank
you, sir. Thank you all.
Hello.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We'll meet again. We'll meet again. Yeah.
Hello.
Nice to see you all.
Thank you to everybody. Thank you.
The experts of geology. I'm very happy to see all of you. I heard about you, but you never met. We'll meet again. Thank you.
And all of you, thank you very much for making this event very successful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. B.J. Unni, sir. Thank you.